Ooh, Halloween is getting close. Welcome to a late night edition of the Landaux Show, a random show you might say. I'm your host, Alan, and I wanted to explain this a lot quicker to a friend of mine, and maybe to some of y'all too. I'll go ahead and call this a little Halloween story because 30 years ago, it was almost 30 years ago, it was like in the, early mid-80s, and well, this is for my friend McSwirl that's on Toontown, and she was curious about the story. My arm is still hurting, even though the doctors, have not cleared me to go back to work yet, which that is going to change, I hope, soon. Well, anyway, you have those sleepovers, but the guys like, to have it different, like in clubhouses, adventurous, more things, tents in the backyard, and you have a sleepover, and it's really cool. But we did something different that was out of the ordinary. My good friend Todd back home, and my best friend, my longtime best friend since I was in first grade, Matt Morgan. Yes, Matt Morgan, just like the wrestler, but he's about 10 years older than him, 9 years older than him, something like that. And we wanted to do something different. We wanted to sleep in the backyard in the greenhouse, and we call this story the greenhouse effect. Well, I don't know if I think a while back I told y'all about Todd and his dad, and when Matt scared the crap out of Todd's dad, back on my birthday I told you, when the horn incident. Well, that same dad looks like Bob Hope with the smirk. He would come in and scare the crap out of you. For example, one time, what? I told you about when I knock on the door, I ask for Todd. He'll just stand there and look at you. I'll ask, is Todd around? Well, he sure as hell ain't square. Well, I can't say last names on here with all due respect, but Todd with his dad. We would wait up for Todd. We'd come home, go to his house, and just chill. One time we were inside the living room, and Todd's dad crept downstairs. And we were waiting on Todd to get off. He says, "Y'all go ahead and go to my house." And he had like a parlor in the front, in the part of his house, and it didn't mind. He left the door open and everything like that. Nice neighborhood. Nobody would break in, but don't ever let that fool you. Don't, because you hear about all these break-ins lately and home invasions and shit like that. And we were inside his parlor and just clowning around, having a few beers before he got off. And his dad crept in there, and he would always do this. He'd come out just like this. Here. And just stand in the living room, quiet. And then he was in the doorway, and I didn't see it. He was in his underwear. And me and Matt, and I don't remember who else was with us. I think Mike Schmidt, I forget his last name. It's been so long ago. We looked down in Matt's face, and Matt looked at me with a terrified look on his face. And then Mr. Glass, we didn't say anything because they were petrified. I got my back turned toward Mr. Glass. Oops. Well, Mr. Glass, Mr. Todd's dad. And then he turned around, crept back out, back to his room. I go, what did he do? And Matt turned to me, you didn't see what he had? No. He had a shiny, long barrel, 44 with a long barrel, 44 Magnum there, man. I'm going, whoa. He thought we were somebody that broke. Well, that's what Mr. Glass does. He will creep in on the room unexpectedly. All right, now getting to the greenhouse. It was like 4 years before. We were all like 15s, in our teens, 14, 15 years old. Of course, Matt and Kevin being 2 years older than I am, I was pretty much the youngest. Let's stay the night in the new greenhouse. It was a huge greenhouse. It took up back to the half of the backyard. And we wanted to try it out, man. And So we spread our sleeping bags down on the ground. It had that, that gravel, that white gravel on there. So we, I had extra padding. Make sure they had extra padding, and smoothed it out the best we could. We're getting and Kevin. I may upload some older Landaux shows of him if I can get the videos uploaded right, because for some reason they're not synced when I do it. The sound gets all messed up, so I need to install a proper codec for it. But I've known Kevin quite a while too, about 10, 20 years, 15 years after I met Matt in first grade, something like that. Well, anyway, Kevin's so goofy. Hey, he was a big car fanatic. Hey, what are you doing? Hey, you want to come over? And all that. And he goes, I would say to him, Kevin, there's something wrong with my car. Oh, what's wrong with that? And, I don't know, the horn is not the horn, but the motor sounds right. Okay, well, take it over and I'll look at it. He acts and looks somewhat like Jack Tripper off of Three's Company. Not kidding. That's his personality. Okay. Kevin was folding out his sleeping bag. As he was doing that, me and Todd and Matt were just, we're talking. And then, those big floodlights that are in the backyard? It was shining right inside the greenhouse, and it kind of made a eerie glow. Kevin, out of the blue, looks up and went, and he almost to where he let out a scream, and me and Matt are just, what? And Kevin took off running out of the back of the door of the greenhouse, and we're going, what the fuck? And we looked over there, and we saw this big shadow just standing there, and we thought it was a bear. But no, it was Mr. Gladish creeping right there in the shadow. And Kevin screamed like a girl. And, yeah, that's what he did. He screamed. He went, ah, as he ran out. Mr. Gladish crept up inside the greenhouse and walked in there. You guys got girls in here? And we looked at each other. No. Then why the hell did I hear one scream like one? Why was there screaming like one? He said, you just scared the shit out of Kevin. We don't know why, because he thought you were a monster. Oh, we must have laughed for hours, man, that night. And that's what we called it, the greenhouse effect. It was so funny. I even, in class, when we went into class Monday, I even drew a comic strip about it, because we didn't have no camcorders then. Well, you did, but they were outrageous. They weren't in, not like today's iPhones and all that. And I showed it to Matt, and he snickered. And the laughing started up again in class when I titled it "The Greenhouse Effect," and I drew a shadowy bear of Mr. Glass standing in the. I think I got it stored somewhere. Maybe I'll someday when I go through my storyboards of old comics I got, I'll show them to you. But anyway, it's an early Halloween story, and if I don't make another show before then, happy Halloween. God bless y'all. Till next time.